Hi there, welcome to another KOI training, but this one is hopefully in your home when you're in your pajamas and will only be 5 to 7 minutes because we're really just going through some of the stuff that you have already been working on for the past 2 years or year. And so I just wanted to bring your attention to some things that are a little bit different, but for the most part, most of the things we do this year are going to be fairly similar to the things that we did last year. Um, to start off, scheduling is going to be the same as it was last year. So if I am in your house on a particular day, um, then be ready for an email that you will get that says, you know, Miss Summers or Miss Schlosstein or Miss Watts, what time? These are the 3 time slots that I have available. Which time would you prefer? So if I'm in your house on a particular day, I'm going to be sending you an email if you're a kinder or first teacher to ask you what time you would prefer for me to come in and do that KOI lesson. If for any reason we have to reschedule, that's never a problem. But we're going to be starting this hopefully on the 27th, so next Tuesday, I'm hoping. The other thing is that the KOI experiences are also going to remain the same. So for kindergarten, we have spilt milk, we have problem solving with shapes, we have some slug, and then we have rebus stories. So we're going to do those four. And then for first grade, we've got problem solving with shapes, giant children, um, rebus stories, and math story problems. So those are the same four that we did last year as well. Last year, I think I'd asked y'all to do two additional um, gifted activities in your classroom. However, this year I'm just going to ask you to do one. So if you could do one extra activity from the white binder that I have in my office, you'll be good to go. So, just to remind you, the 7 categories that we are looking for when we're talking about recognizing gifted potential, according to Bertie Kingor, the master of KOI, is advanced learning, analytical thinking, meaning motivation, perspective, sense of humor, sensitivity, and accelerated learning. So, all of these 7 dimensions are the traits that you've been through before. I am going to encourage you, though, I'm going to send the presentation that I used last year. On slide 9 of that presentation, there's a SMORE link to each of these attributes, and it's going to be worthwhile to go through the explanation of those behaviors because I really think that that will drive it home in terms of what is it exactly that you need to be looking for. For example, for advanced language, um, one of the one of the characteristics is uses multisyllabic words unassumingly and descriptive. So if you go onto that SMORE link, the explanation of that particular behavior is gifted children who demonstrate advanced language are frequently noticed for their large vocabularies and unexpected use of multisyllabic words. For example, a child in the 2nd grade wrote a creative story about a rock music group which she named Igneous. Because of their larger vocabularies, gifted primary children may also be unusually descriptive and use more adjectives than their age mates. So if you want to get more of a description on the behaviors and what they mean, I'm going to encourage you to go to slide 9 of the presentation that we did last year and to read the list of or the explanation of those behaviors. They go through each one. So everything that's listed, all the behaviors that are listed are here, and the explanation is on that SMORE link. So I encourage you to go through that. Let's see. Okay, this year you have the green folder again, but last year, if you remember, you had your green folder and you also had to keep up with the anecdotal notes, which I provided for you on this wonderful clipboard. However, this year, in order to make things a little bit easier and so that you're not managing 2 different things, I've combined them both to put everything on one green folder. So yay, your anecdotal notes will be on the back of your green folder. Your green folder will still remain the same as it was last year, and you still have your 7 categories in here, okay, within the folder. So let's see. In terms of tallying marks for learners in your class that are exhibiting any of these behaviors, you've got the date and you've got a color box. So I'm going to say that maybe for every 2 weeks or every month, you should be changing the color of the tally so that we know when these learners are being observed and when they are being recorded for and how many times their name reappears in terms of the gifted behaviors that we are looking for. Just to look at Miss Summers last year, her folder looked like this, and this is a great example of kind of what your folder should look like at the end of our KOI experience. So she's got the different colors, October, November, and December, and I can clearly see which learners were identified when, depending on the behaviors that they were exhibiting. Okay, I'm going to add one more thing though. I'm thinking if you're noticing a behavior in your classroom and you're seeing some example of accelerated learning for a particular student, if you could jot that down on your anecdotal records, it would serve kind of 2 purposes. So we've got that, yes, they've been exhibiting this, but this is what they were doing. So you can kind of use them both kind of at the same time and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But at the same time, it gives some backup to the fact that you're observing these behaviors. It gives, I guess, some evidence or some proof as well. And it helps to jog your memory and, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is what we were doing at the time that I noticed this behavior. So I'm going to ask that you, if you are tallying, that you also kind of flip over and quickly write down what you observed or what the child said, just so that we have more documentation. The green folder, I can't stress that enough, that it is the only documentation piece that you have in your classroom. And really, it's going to save everybody if you are using it. So I'm going to encourage you and stress that you please do use that green folder. Continue using it as a documentation piece, because really in December, when we have to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, this is an important piece that has to align with the rest. Let's see. Oh, for the tally system, one more thing that I wanted to add is when you are tallying a learner, 1 behavior equals 1 tally. So if a child is exhibiting a particular behavior, I'm going to ask you to go with the category that you think it would fall in the strongest. So I'd say, okay, if a child has said something to you and you think, wow, that's a great example of advanced language and analytical thinking, which, the child could say something that definitely would fall into either of the categories. Please don't put a tally for advanced language and analytical thinking. Go with your gut, go with your heart, and put it in the category that you believe it most falls in. So 1 behavior equals 1 tally. Let's see. Okay, I think that is pretty much most of what I wanted to kind of remind you of. Again, encouraged strongly to go through the KOI presentation and go through that some more. I'm going to pop the new green folders with the anecdotal records into your boxes ahead of time, so that if you are already noticing some things in your classroom, you can go ahead and start using this. One more piece. Sorry, I completely forgot. Please keep the green folder in a place that is accessible to you and I, because what I'm noticing is that if you are experiencing a learner that's exhibiting gifted behaviors and I don't know of them until, say, December, then sometimes that's too late, where I could have been maybe going in and working with the learner or talking to the learner and getting to know a little bit about them as you're noticing these behaviors. So please put it in a place where either you could grab it or I could grab it, and then we can just start gathering a little bit more information together and making it really a beneficial screening process for the learner. Again, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know I said that the recording was only going to be about 10 minutes. I mean, sorry, 5 minutes, but I doubled that clearly. So, how I'm going to know if you've watched this entire video is if you can tell me which of my nostrils is larger than the other. This is very embarrassing for me to be recording myself because my mouth moves in different ways, my nostrils are uneven. So, yeah, come to me and tell me which one of my nostrils, left or right, is larger than the other. And that's how I know that you have watched this amazing and exhilarating video. Have a wonderful day, kinder and first teachers. See you later. Bye.